Hey guys, it's Matt. You know that the 33 and other fake reality markers absolutely fascinate me. Maybe I talk about it too much, but I'll continue to talk about it as long as these things keep popping up, and I'm just as fascinated every single time it happens. The last freevoice.io video was about the same topic during the Allen Iverson documentary. So I'm watching the NASCAR channel. Let me just set this up for you. I'll show you a still image and I'll show you some of the audio. Hopefully I'll be allowed to play it. Seriously, recitarily, they might not even let me. I'm watching the NASCAR championship. I don't watch much NASCAR anymore. It's destroyed like every other sport. And I went, oh no.
Keselowski leads. And the 33-year-old from Elk Grove, California, Kyle Larson, comes to the line and is a two-time champion.
Now, I don't sports bet, as you know, and I have no interest in it. I would never gamble away the donations and support you guys give me. Other than the one IPA I drink a night, it all goes to good causes. But if you were a sports bettor, if you knew that Kyle Larson, it was the Final Four, they have 4 cars in the final race racing for a championship. The format is absolutely horrible and has destroyed the sport. But what else is new? Every sport is destroyed. If I was a sports bettor and I knew one of them was 33 years old, I would have bet the house. Of course, Denny Hamlin, this tragic figure. Guys, if you don't want the NASCAR commentary, I'll wrap it up in less than 45 seconds, I promise. Denny Hamlin, a tragic figure who's a real asshole. He has a race team with Michael Jordan. He had it won. He's never won a championship. He's come close like 10 times. He had it won. And then there was a late stage caution, which allowed the 33-year-old to get close to the front. Does that mean the powers that be inside notnilC that represent NASCAR fixed the race so the 33-year-old would win? It's possible, actually, in this case. It is possible. But in general, I think the 33 comes out of reality. It almost flows out of reality. The same way the magenta is also presented by the creeps. The magenta is presented by T-Mobile and in hundreds or thousands of other popular places. The magenta also flows out of reality, as, in my opinion, the 33 does. The first grade truther believes every 33 that pops up is planted by the secret societies. Every single 33 that's in a license plate was put there, according to the first grade truther, by the secret societies. And I mean, we're hopefully way past that. It is planted sometimes. In this case here with NASCAR, it was awfully odd how this guy, William Byron's tire, just happened to go down a few laps before Denny Hamlin was about to win the championship. This new car, I'll do 30 more seconds on NASCAR, guys, but this new car is suspicious. Everybody gets the same exact parts. No team can mess with it. You can't see underneath it if you put it up on a jack. Do they have a button where they probably can push a button and a tire goes down? Yeah, probably. There's been other, let's just say, freak occurrences that probably weren't freak occurrences that happened over the last few years in NASCAR to create drama. Anyway, but I don't generally believe this is how it works. I think that is a first grade truth or philosophy. I think the things we notice about a fake world come out of a fake world, in many cases what you would call naturally, if that even makes sense, in talking about or when discussing a fake world. I went over here, guys, to make sure. Is Taylor Swift 33? And that made sense. She was a little bit older. I guess she was at the height of her popularity about 2.5 years ago when she was 33. That makes sense. But just 35, that seems old to be notnilC if you're listening to me. And I'm sure you are in some sense. For a pop star that's supposed to dominate the entire world, this is an old woman. I'm just getting on the middle-aged women again. That's what your whole channel's about, man. So really, 5 years from 40 is not old from a pop star perspective? Yeah, it is. This is old head. This is this is notnilC. You better be looking for somebody in the bullpen. You got somebody in the warming up in the bullpen, notnilC? That's a baseball reference. You better have somebody ready to go because this is old head. 5 years from 40. Hey, what's she gonna come out in a cane soon? What you gonna keep bringing out that washcloth, notnilC, till she 42 and 55? Like that's me. Then 62. How long can you keep getting drops out of that washcloth, notnilC? You better have somebody in the bullpen. This is an old woman from a pop star perspective. Oh, Matt, you're trying to go after the middle-aged women again. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's you caught me. That's what this entire channel's about. Was it that obvious? Here it is, the current display that's in my current Target. Life of a show of a showgirl. I don't think I've ever been in the Target in the last 5 years where there wasn't a dedicated Taylor Swift cardboard display. And the one that's there now, because I just saw it. I didn't take this picture. I found it online, but it's just like this. I walked right by it. I went, oh no. Life of a showgirl. Life of a showgirl who's trying to marry some old has-been Travis Kelce, who's some beaten up tight end who can't even catch a pass no more. Come on, man. How many? Again, it's incredible how they keep wringing the washcloth. And again, I've thought about this many times. Where's the replacement superstar? Okay, Matt, there are some that you just don't. Do you go to those sections of TikTok? No, I don't. They must be grooming some little delinquent. They must be, of course. I don't hang in those circles. But it doesn't seem like there's anybody of gigantic superstar level that's ready to take Taylor Swift's place. But again, I really am not an authority on the new pop stars and singers coming up. All right, let me show you this picture quickly so you can see how strange and creepy this performer. I don't want to say woman. I don't know what it is. Saint Vincent. Is that this is a creepy entity, folks. I had forgotten about I talked to you about it about 2 years ago. I was very impressed by her performance doing the Kate Bush Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony 2 years ago. Her singing of Running Up the Hill. I thought it was an amazing performance. This woman, or let's just call her a woman, we don't really know what it is, has absolute talent and vocally, and is, I don't know, some would say she's one of the top 10 female guitarists in the world. She can absolutely play guitar. But after I watched this video, and again, 2 years ago, the entire Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony was just bathed in magenta. At least from the Creeps' perspective, their presentation of the magenta has fallen off a bit. It seemed maybe it was their grimoire had to align the presentation of the magenta at its peak with Taylor Swift being 33 years old. I'm not joking. They do weird. That could be in their grimoire. They're weird fucks, these things that we try to study and figure out that are our spiritual blockers here. They're weird little toads. Maybe that's why the magenta peaked, because Taylor Swift was 33. Anyway, they've toned it down a bit. But maybe they just needed to get it started, like pushing a soapbox derby car down a hill. Maybe they just had to get it started because, as Jeff and other researchers will tell you, and what I've found, it flows, the magenta comes also through reality itself, just like the 33. It's not just planned by the secret societies. But the point is, of course, when you watch a YouTube video and you scroll down through your television, it'll show you related performances. And there's all these performances, her in I don't know what you call it. To me, to an old man like me, it's a bathing suit. I don't know. I never seen nobody on the Atlantic City beach dressed exactly like that. I don't know what to call it. But I'm like, well, Matt, why did you watch it? Well, I'm not going to say why I watched it, but I had to watch it for research purposes for this channel. You think that thing turns me on? It's like a demon creature. So I watched a few Mass Seduction, one of her big songs, and I've got a weird feeling when she presented for Kate Bush. This is like a demon creature. I don't know what. Now, there's two things whenever this happens. One, is this the sequential entity in and of itself? Is it a different spiritual entity? And I'm always trying to figure out, is it a entity like Melvin P. of the Belinda and Melvin P. Gates Foundation, or is it a real spirit like you and me, but somebody that went bad, somebody that just booked a room under the dragon's wing, booked a condominium in a room under the dragon's wing. Like, is Alec Baldwin just like you and me spiritually, but he made alignment or made pact with the sequentials, with those here that run this world? Now, again, if people do go bad to this degree, and this, whatever this thing here is, was a real spiritual being, was real boy Pinocchio before it went bad toward its rotted wood Pinocchio, then this is a case against the no consequences people. The no consequences people. Oh, if St. Vincent's a real spirit like you, the no consequences people. There's no problem. She could do any demonic thing. She could spin around playing a guitar on a pentagram. She could align with whatever notnilC is here. She could go bad, do evil things. I'm just the no consequences people. I'm completely protected. Nothing could ever. And as I said, I apologize to the no consequences people all the time because they've pulled me a bit in their direction. But if this St. Vincent was a real spiritual being and got this far under the dragon's wing, to me, there's a consequence for that. There's a consequence for that sort of choice. That's just me. That's where I am right now. No consequence. People cannot be spiritually harmed. Okay. You just play with your Ouija board all day. You play your guitar and your pentagram. Nothing. You can't ever give even one little bit of soul token away. In terms of how hard the notnilC works, does that make sense? What's it doing all this stuff for? To corrupt us, or at least to distract us. So, no, this Saint Vincent character is very fascinating to me. And I don't know if you can, by looking him in the eyes, if you can tell, if it's a real spiritual being or one of them, like a sequential incarnation. Who knows? Maybe they have a little tattoo, on the small of their back, like a what is it called? A tramp stamp or something that tells you what they are. I don't know. But last thing, remember the guy. When it's shown on YouTube, it's also with the introduction from the rapper's name is Big Boy. And Big Boy, whoever this rapper comes up and introduced the St. Vincent performance for Kate Bush, because apparently this Big Boy is a huge fan of Kate Bush, which I don't know. I guess that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But remember, I said it last time. I love doing this. And he says, here's what the real translation is. He says, next with the performance of Running Up That Hill, Saint Vincent. That's if you were reading from your lines. It would be next with a incredible performance of Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush, Saint Vincent. But Big Boy says, next we'll classic performance of Run Up the Hill, Saint Vincent's Hill. That's what he says. It took me years to figure out what the fuck he was talking about. One last thing on this, guys, before moving on to the next topic, and I'm not even joking about this. I'm really kind of scared. When this loads, it goes out to the world. What if she sees or hears what I'm saying? Did you see the beginning of Van Helsing with the whatever his name is, Hugh Jackman, and Dracula had those 3 wives or whatever? What if she literally would? I might go to bed some night, pull the covers up over my head, pull the covers down. She could be hanging upside down from my ceiling fan like a Draculess. I'm not even joking. I'm terrified that when I hit upload to YouTube on this, that she might see it and come and get me. Now I present to you the most anticipated part of this variety show, the important and very real headlines from notnilC. Top left. Fierce backlash within GOP after Tucker Carlson gives white nationalist Nick Fuentes a platform. What? A white nationalist is called Nick Fuentes? That's a Latin American. Fuentes, what is that? That's ringing a bell for me. That's the freaking, was he the captain on NYPD Blue with Sipowicz? Nick Fuentes. It's not Nick Smith or Nick McGregor. Nick Fuentes, that's a Honduran name. That the root of that, the etymology of that name is like Lower Honduras or something. How could he be a white nationalist? See, notnilC screwing with us right from the very start. And there's that name Tucker Carlson again. What's incredible to me is as the years go on, there's still some people here that actually believe in some of these conservative talk show pundits. And yes, Tucker Carlson is continuing to talk about more and more, say, controversial things or things that we would consider conspiracy. But that's what notnilC does. They normalize it through entities or whatever Tucker Carlson is. No, Tucker Carlson is 100% notnilC download. There isn't one of these types of pundits from a conservative perspective that's on your side. It's what's it called? The revelation of the method. I'm no expert on that horse shit, that initiation horse shit. Revelation of the method. Remember we did a video on the revelation of the yes, eventually they will normalize it. Even all the conspiracy surrounding the 7-Eleven job application and everything that we thought was taboo to talk about. Then it's slowly, Rob noticed this before anybody else, it's slowly put out through people that many dummies think are on their side. Not too many here believe in Tucker Carlson, but in general, you know what I'm saying. It's all put out through what really happened to the Pentagon. Tucker Carlson gets to the bottom of it. And you say, well, how is the conspiracy allowed to come out through him? Because it's being managed through him. They'll never get to that final part that's most important to spiritual beings. It'll never turn to worry about yourself. It will always be, let's keep the conspiracy fueled. Let's keep elements of the conspiracy going so these assholes over here can get back in the weeds and do more research. Bill's poster, research me, said Ray Liotta in Revolver. Research me, damn it. Don't walk away from my weeds. Get back in my weeds. Look. Make you feel good. Tucker Carlson's talking about it. Come on back into my weeds. Tucker Carlson, he's on your side. He's a notnilC stooge, people. I know most of you aren't, but there's a few here. You'd be surprised. There's a few here that believe Trump's out there fighting for you. There's a few here. I'm not joking. Now let us look at the legitimate and completely real headline, top right. Trump administration threatens to reduce air traffic. Underneath, major airport hubs prepare to feel the impacts of the longest shutdown in U.S. history as negotiations continue into day 37. Well, what happened on day 33? Oh, let me look at the images. Oh my God. Oh, it's the spaghetti scrimmages. Oh my God. They control every image put on every website. I got to get off. I got to stop this. I'm so sorry. I got to get going. Okay, this should work. They probably won't come after me if it's just half an image. Guys, it's unclear exactly what the air traffic controllers are being paid. There's vague stories. They're mandatory workers, even required to work through a government shutdown. So the first couple paychecks they got, but then it was a partial payment. And let me see. I did clipped part of the article here. Let me pull this up, and we'll go from there. It's vague, but they're saying basically now most articles are saying they're not being paid. Not the greatest thought. Is anybody about to take a flight and there's a group of strung out air traffic controllers who are just popping pills who haven't been paid? You might want to reconsider the Disney World vacation. Okay, here's something. Air traffic controllers received a partial paycheck early in the shutdown and last week missed one entirely. On Thursday, Duffy said controllers will be sent another pay stub that reads $0. Well, why even send out the pay stub? Why waste the paper? He said many controllers cannot go without two paychecks. That's people living to paycheck to paycheck. They're getting a stub saying you get $0. Contribution, if you're 401k, $0. Contribution, it's just zeros. Well, why are you putting out the pay stubs at all then? Aren't they? Or they're going to get all the back pay. But the point is, guys, I didn't realize it. I did not realize that air traffic controllers are showing up to work all strung out. Last night they had 7 Jack Daniels, and then they're showing up without pay. I don't think I would be headed down to the Philadelphia airport right now, but I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything myself, so it's not going to affect me. Okay, for anybody about to fly, I'm mostly joking. I don't think air traffic controllers are needed in 2025. Do you? They have the digital twin technology, the AI deepfake, where you can't tell if it's a real person or not. You can talk to different forms of AI on your phone. It'll talk back just like, okay, Matt, we know all this. You don't need to go over every single type of technology that exists, even on your iPhone or your Samsung Galaxy. So we're expected to believe this system is still just like presented by John Cusack and Billy Bob Thornton in Pushing Tin. Just a bunch of hungover delinquents up in the tower fighting with each other. United Flight 100, proceed to 33,000 feet promptly, or what is it, Top Gun, take Angels 10. You think they need people, delinquents sitting around they're there, and it's probably a human redundancy. Think about it. You think these delinquents up in the tower are really needed in 2025 with this level of AI technology? They wouldn't, I mean, they don't, this is an important industry to notnilC. The money multiplier, the movement of money, travel. If there was any danger and there could be 4 or 5 or accidents or whatever that could threaten the entire industry, and because air traffic controllers are staying home now and some aren't showing up for work because they're not being paid. The notnilC, I mean, you say, well, they don't care about people. They care about their own economic engine and make sure everything works. No, they don't. They don't probably care about the real spiritual beings on the flight. But if it was risky, they wouldn't do it because they would put their own industries at risk. And they've worked very hard over a 50-year period, getting everybody to believe how perfectly safe air traffic is. And we've talked, it's now up to 280 to 320 million flights in a row in the United States without a major incident. Not 30,000, 320 million in a row. They've worked very hard to create that perfect safety perception. In a way, did they just do that for nothing? It doesn't serve notnilC? They don't want it all flushed in a week. If air traffic controllers are not being paid and they have the right to stay home because they're not being paid, and there was any safety issues, then it wouldn't continue forward. Of course, this is part of the story, part of the script. I don't think some hungover delinquent up in a tower with one hand down his pants and one talking of United Flight 100 proceed to 33,000 feet promptly. I don't think they need those people anymore, but that's just me. I'm just, call me a conspiracy person. I'm just one of those people. This next segment comes with a mandatory 20-second warning for those that maybe just ate, for those that believe Medusa's real, for those that just generally aren't feeling very well today or have the propensity to throw up a lot, like my cat. You don't want to look at the image that's coming in less than 5 seconds. Now, it's just a regular screenshot from CNN, and the picture's relatively small, but don't look at the top left unless you have to. I'll take the pain for you. Nancy Pelosi announces she will not seek re-election to Congress after nearly 40 years in Washington, D.C. Hold on, I've got to turn my head. Oh, come back. Give me a napkin. Oh my, could be the greatest. Well, that's not, worst not make one great. That's not, forget great. This could be the largest and most disgusting example of stalled century in the history of the world. That ghoul has got to be close to 90 or something, right? I mean, she just keeps coming back and her district in the San Francisco area of left-wing lunatics is so gone, so mentally gone and deranged that they actually probably counted real votes. I don't think she was installed by notnilC. Her little precinct or district or whatever you call it is so mentally gone, they actually elected her over, it would be about 20 times because it's every 2 years for the U.S. Congress. She was Speaker of the House, leader of the pack. Oh my, I just threw up into my mouth. Okay, now at some point, stalled century can't go on forever. These types of entities, we believe, are still in what you would consider to be a human body. And they can't you can't remember the scene in Silence of the Lambs when they wheeled out Hannibal Lecter on the gurney to see the senator, and he had the mask on. He was all strapped to the gurney, and they had to wheel him forward like they were carrying 8 cases of beer. And he said, "And Senator, one more thing. Love your suit." Remember that? I got the last part right, the first part. That they can't just bring her to the vote like that. But actually, they probably, for 40 years, they should have brought her to the vote like that with her arms and their mask on, the Lecter mask. That would have been more representative of the entity that she truly was. But they can't keep doing it. So stalled century, I mean, I was going to say, like any normal human would have retired 15 years ago and gone off and said, I've done enough, and read a book on a beach. And these entities are not normal. They're role players for what we call notnilC. And good riddance. Guys, I toggled back to CNN just a moment ago, and they've made the picture bigger, moving this story up to #1. And you know what I'm going to say? The reason I went back to this, if this is the #1 story in the world, you know what I'm going to say? Things aren't so bad compared to what our ancestors went through. You going to tell us to stop complaining again? No, you just told yourself that, sir. And I'm not entirely joking if anybody's new for the last segment or two. According to what Tony said, I believe every bit of it. This is not in any way a joke. Okay, I say that a lot when I'm actually joking. This is a different spiritual entity. Tony called it a sequential. Old guard, you've heard it a million times. There's actually some new people here. This is a different entity who plays a role in this reality. You are a more advanced entity. This is a very low thing. It's fiddle and bends. It's lower than the belly of a worm. Okay, let's move away from this thing. Matt, all kidding aside, you believe that Nancy Pelosi is a different type of entity, at least what you would call spiritually, than you are. Yes, 100%. 100%. We are both in this existence, the same flesh or body. They have access to all the cures and all the treatments that they don't give the great unwashed and the proletariat like us. But in terms of soul related to spirit or the connection out of here, they might not have a connection out of here. Yes, I'm not in any way joking. I believe what Tony said. I did say this in the last segment, but people aren't, some people go, he doesn't really believe that. Yes, it is it's still a spiritual entity, but it is not the same as you are. It is less advanced. I believe that 100%. I just want to be crystal clear. I'm in no way joking. And of course, this goes without saying. Others believe we all start out on equal playing ground. And some choose the dark path or the path of Satan or the evil, and others take other paths. Of course, I mean that's Matt. Give yourself a Pootie Tang Award. Well, I'm aware that many of you believe that. I think these are different things. We don't all start out the same. This thing or whatever this ancient entity has been a role player here in what you call Earth for a very, very long time. Let's see what Norm, the bathtub rebel, and Paul's cartoon is saying here. This is very profound, actually. How can a real being exist inside a fake world? To me, and to Tony and others, very simply, we chose to insert an aspect of ourselves into a very low place, to have a very low experience, not to transcend into a being of light or 4D or to rise up, to have this low experience, to learn things, to experience things that can't be experienced anywhere other than in this low place. The real being, can you insert yourself, Norm the Bathtub Rebel? Can you put your VR glasses on or someday take your Ray Kurzweil, Elon Musk brain chip and all of a sudden a digital environment? You're still the same person. Now you're in a digital world, and for a while you may be fooled into thinking that's real. I think the first part's rather simple. We tricked ourselves or an aspect of ourselves to come in here. So it at least initially believes it's Matt McKinley. And then for a while believes it's the name in all caps, the straw man on the birth certificate, and believes it's that entity that the corporate fiction of the United States does. But ew, who would think they're that? Most people think they're that. That's the point of the entire trick of this reality. So the first part makes perfect sense. I don't believe you have a heart trapped in here, trick. No, to me, I'll say it again. Yeah, they know. We agreed to put an aspect of ourselves in here. Everybody knows that's my thoughts. I know many of you don't believe that or think differently. Let's see what the second thing that Norm, the Bathtub Rebel, is saying. Well, how can a real being exist in a fake world? Well, if that's true, then even if it's real, it's fake confuses me. The notion of even if it's real, it's fake confuses me. I see what the problem is here. Norm's saying, well, even if it's real, it's fake. Well, I'm real, but I'm not fake. Well, okay, Norm. The notion of even if it's real, it's fake applies to everything here but you, but the real spiritual being. Okay? The aspect of you inside this earth realm, the aspect, or in a way, is fake. No doubt about it. Especially depending on how hard you've fallen for the trick. If you believe, Matt, you're Matt McKinley, and you're the straw man, and you're a U.S. citizen, that's what you are, the physical being, then you've been tricked. That aspect of you actually is fake. But even if it's real, it's fake. Ultimately, you're real. Ultimately, you and I, we transcend this place. The only thing real here is the real consciousness of where we came from. Even if it's real, then it's fake. That applies, Norm, that applies to everything here. Well, not everything. Some things are just plain out fake. Some school events and mall events are just fake. They're not. Some, even if it's real, it is fake. It has an element of both. But Norm, I didn't mean that to imply that to us. Okay, that the ultimate, and when the gavel comes down, even if we're real, we're fake. Not us, Norm. Okay, I'm sorry. I should have been more clear about that. I appreciate, Norm, you bringing that up to me. It applies to the world out there because the first grade truther believes everything's staged. Everyone's a catastrophe thespian. Everybody's reading their lines. Everybody's in on it. And now we know it's just the rule of opposites. Most things, if you were there right in front of it, if you were at that mall or at that school, most things are actually, if you were right on top of it, would be considered to be, per the definition of what that is in this reality, would be real. Now in some cases, of course, some school events are completely ridiculous. I'm aware of that, but that is not like we thought. Most things have a real element or a blend, like the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo missions. At least initially, a real rocket went up. I mean, where it went up because it's called Apollo, the sun god. I think it went up to study a local sun. I think, but where it didn't go to, it didn't go to where they say it went. There's elements of both. So I guess I'm kind of getting into the weeds here. Even if it's real, it's fake. If you're right in the middle of it, most things in this reality are very real if you're letting those things into your personal reality bubble. But ultimately, it's just notnilC playing its same old scripts. People playing out what they're intended to do via the download that they're on the ship of fools, and they're living on that radio station and that frequency. So somebody might really be harmed over here, or this bridge might have really collapsed. But so that in somebody's car, when that bridge collapsed, plunged down onto the rocks, and that's very real. But the whole event itself was meant to be inside a notnilC script. Therefore, even if it's real, it's fake. Thanks for listening.